And action. Here we go. Hi you guys, welcome to my channel, So Many Some Things. My name is Denisse, and I am so excited to finally be recording my first ever video for YouTube. If you know me or you're related to me, you know that I have been talking about starting my own booktube channel now for the last 2 years, and I never got around to doing it. I always found excuse after excuse. So, you know, this has become kind of a thing in my family. Oh, Denise says she's going to do that, but she never is going to do it. And well, here I am actually doing it. So I'm very excited. I feel like I, deserve a round of applause, or I just want to like throw confetti because I'm finally doing it. It's very nerve-wracking. I'm very afraid because this is a little awkward to be talking to a camera, but I am also excited for what is to come. I have really been wanting to do this for a long time, so here it is. I'm going to be doing the Booktube Newbie tag. I just feel like this is a really good way for you guys to know what kind of books I like, my favorite genres, things like that about me. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started with the questions. Here we go. Question number 1, why did you start this channel? So I really wanted to start this channel because I really do love books. I spend pretty much 80 to 90% of my time surrounded by books or talking about books or trying to write my own books. Hopefully I get to publish them one day, fingers crossed. But yeah, my life is really much 90% of the time about books. And I will have discussions with my family about the books I'm reading at a time. And unfortunately, when I'm talking about books with my family, it's kind of like talking to a wall, which is what I'm doing right now, except there's a camera in front of it. It literally is not a good conversation. It's a one-way conversation. It goes in the ear of one family member and it comes out, the other side. My family just really kind of ignores me and we move on to the next topic of conversation. So hopefully that doesn't happen here. Hopefully you guys are interested in what I have to say. Hopefully. I also wanted to start this channel because I felt that fear shouldn't dictate my life. And for the last 2 years, the underlying reason or the excuses I gave, it was all because of fear. I have a genuine fear of the spotlight. This feels really uncomfortable, talking to a camera, having a camera pointed at me, having lights surround me. It's really weird. It gets some getting used to, I guess. So I just really wanted to finally do this because I wanted to step out of my comfort zone and get to do something I know I'm going to enjoy. I love talking about books. It's just I really have to put myself out there and try. So yeah. Next question. Question number 2. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? So I think what I'm going to do with this channel, it's going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be your standard conventional BookTube channel. Even though I am going to do the traditional TBRs, wrap-ups, book recommendations, book hauls, it's not going to just be a BookTube channel. The reason why this channel is called So Many Some Things is because I'm going to be talking about so many some things. Whether that be writing, Korean content, Korean dramas, movies, K-pop, history, just a lot of different types of topics that I will be kind of throwing out here on this channel. I mean, just some examples of videos that are going to be coming up in the near future. How to make tamales. If you would like to learn how to make tamales, my mom is the best cook in the world and she makes the best tamales. And no, I'm not just saying that, I'm not being biased, that's actual fact. My mom makes the best tamales in the world. So I definitely want to share that recipe with you guys. Other video examples that I have coming up, I am a writer, like I mentioned, and I am going to be participating in NaNoWriMo. So probably doing something like writing 15,000 words in one day or something like that. I'm also going to be throwing in maybe how to learn Korean, Hangul, because I am learning Korean. 안녕하세요. 저는 Denisse입니다. 만나서 반갑습니다. Which basically translates to, hi you guys, my name is Denisse, nice to meet you. So maybe, you know, like a video on best resources to learn Korean for a beginner or something like that. So there's a lot of fun and exciting things to come on this channel, so definitely be on the lookout, definitely subscribe, because it's going to be really fun. Question number 3, what are you most excited for about this new channel? So I'm most excited about connecting with other people, connecting and getting to trade off recommendations on books. I'm also very excited on testing my creativity. I've never done anything like this before. I've never filmed and edited, so I think that's going to, you know, challenge me creatively in a whole new level using a whole different medium. So I'm very excited. So next question, question number 4, why do you love reading? So this question is actually kind of weird because I initially, when I started reading as a kid, I didn't really love reading. I actually hated it. I eventually grew to love it as I grew older, and I'm glad I did, because honestly, reading really shaped who I am as a person. My character would not be, I would not be who I am today if it weren't for the books I read as a kid and in my teenage years as well. So I love reading for, you know, now for being escapism and being entertainment, and, you know, throwing in a nice important lesson here and there. Question number 5, what book or series got you into reading? So because I didn't initially love reading, I don't really have a series or a book that I remember that was kind of that moment where I said, oh, you know, that moment where like, oh my God, I love reading. I didn't really have that. Like people always say, oh, Dr. Seuss's Green Eggs and Ham was the book of my childhood, or The Giving Tree was that book that really got me into reading and just made me feel, you know, made me cry. I have none of that, like none of that. For me, you know, reading has been kind of like a romance. I initially had a very hateful, you know, we kind of got off on the wrong foot. I hated it. And then, you know, it became kind of like, oh, this is interesting. This is fun. You're cute. I think I like you, but I'm still going to date around. And then it became more like, okay, we're exclusive. Like you and I, we're together now. Like I like you a lot. Like you're yes. And then it became this very passionate love affair. And now I love reading, and it's kind of like a marriage of sorts, maybe, possibly. That's a really weird analogy to describe my relationship with reading. It really did start off as a kind of, ugh, I hate it. I don't want to do it. It's a chore. It's homework. Ugh. And now I love it. So yeah, I don't really have a book or series. So I'm going to change this question just a little bit, because I do have books that I remember as being very fun and memorable. I wouldn't really say that these were the books that got me into reading. So the series that I really remember as very memorable in my childhood, Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling, which actually I have not finished. So I'm going to explain why I haven't finished this series. I've never been one to follow the hype of books, meaning that I don't really go out and purchase books when they're released, you know, on the day of. Even though I was a fan of this series and I did love these characters and the story, I mean, J.K. Rowling is incredible, an amazing author. I just never was the person that would follow so closely in terms of having to get my hands on the next book right away. I remember when the last book came out in summer 2007, I had to wait a really long time. And I think that's why I didn't end up reading it. It was because the only way at that time I could get a book, my hands on a book, was by checking them out at school. Because my parents, you know, they couldn't afford books, so I couldn't buy books. I hadn't yet started making money, so I couldn't buy it. So I had to wait on when my school had it, and it was constantly being checked out. So I could never ever get my hands on that book. And then eventually, I guess I didn't really want to, because I felt like I was saying goodbye to my childhood, and I didn't really want to do that. When the movies came out back in 2010, 2011, again, I didn't really get back to reading the series until finally now I realized I really would like to finish it, but I do have to start all over because obviously I've forgotten some important plot points. So I will go and reread the series and finally finish it. But yeah, that is a very memorable series for me. Another one I would say is A Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. Very important series. Another one I didn't finish. But that one is because it's 13 books, I believe. And I kind of moved on to junior high or high school by the time those were done. And I just really honestly forgot about them. But I will go and reread that series because I do want to finish that one as well. Another series I really remember that I did initially finish, it was the Meg Cabot Princess Diaries series. I remember this was the exception to my rule of never following the hype, because I remember the last book in this series, Princess Diaries Forever, I believe it was called, came out January 6, 2009. And the only reason I remember that date very specifically is because it was my brother's birthday, and I had stopped on the way from buying him a present to get this book, just because I really wanted to finish this series. That was the exception to my rule of never following the hype. I would say that it was a series I had completed, but now it's become one I haven't finished because Meg Cabot came up with another one. I think it was called The Royal Wedding or something a few years ago. I haven't read that. So thanks, Meg Cabot. I mean, for making a series I had finished into an unfinished one. Wow, I have a really bad track record. I don't really finish series. Question number 6. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? So I do tend to follow a few booktubers, a Book Olive, Chapter Stacks. Certain questions I would ask them would probably be about time management, how you handle uploading regularly, because it seems like it is a lot to be doing this. So that would probably be one of the questions. Another one would probably be about books, because I'm always talking about books, so something related to books. Question number 7. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? So I think the first challenge will be this whole process, getting used to it, getting used to filming, getting used to editing. I have never in my life used Adobe Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro, so that's going to be a learning process in itself. Uploading regularly, that will be kind of difficult as well. I have an upload schedule of Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Let's hope I stick to that. So we'll see how that goes. Question number 8. When did you start reading? I started reading when I was about 6 or 7 years old, and reading for me was a chore. It was not really a fun activity. Question number 9. Where do you read? So if I'm here at my house, I will read over here in my bed, usually right before I go to sleep. Or I will, now I've just started coming over here and reading in this chair. I just recently bought an ottoman, and so it's now much more comfortable than it was before. Question number 10. What kind of books do you like to read? So I read both fiction and nonfiction. On the fiction side, I read historical fiction, historical romance, contemporary, young adult, new adult, fantasy, a little bit of sci-fi, but not too much, mystery thriller. I will honestly read any type of book as long as it's interesting, it has interesting characters, and it keeps me entertained. I'm not opposed to any genre. On the nonfiction side, I read a lot of history books. My focus, usually my area of interest, is the World War II Holocaust era, but I will read any time period in history. I also actually read screenplays and play scripts. I'm a huge movie and theater nerd, because I honestly, I literally read, a lot. A couple examples of play scripts, and then I have I don't know, I should probably put these away. But, oops. I have a lot of screenplays that I'm breaking. But yeah, I will be just talking about those as well. So that's going to be something interesting, I think, hopefully. But yeah, that is it for the Booktube Newbie tag. Thank you guys so much for watching this. If you guys want to leave any comments down below on the type of books you guys like or the kind of videos maybe you want to see on this channel, definitely leave those comments down below. I will respond to as many as I can. And if you don't mind subscribing to my channel, I would really appreciate it. Until next time, you guys, thank you. Bye.